Both of these teams um, are checking out their robots, activating them, and communicating with their fellow teammates in the control centers to verify whether any switches need to be pressed or buttons need to be pressed or any um, plugs need to be plugged in or if any computers need to be rebooted, any sort of activities like that that might need to be taken care of between the robot and the control system. And so in the next few minutes, their setup time will expire and we will see a 15-minute run. The second attempt for both of these teams will start very shortly. Again, University of North Carolina, Charlotte on the right, and Saginaw Valley State University on the left. We're going to see two different excavation designs here between these robots. The Charlotte robot on the right has a center-mounted rotating bucket drum, and it actually is multiple drums, one inside the other. And this is a design where the interior drum starts out with its receptacle or its slot or its hole facing upwards, and then the buckets or the teeth and the teeth that you can see on the screen rotate around, and they bring the dirt up, and the dirt falls through that hole. But then later, after the bucket is full, the whole thing actually lifts up, and then the receptacle or that hole actually rotates downward or towards the back of the robot in order to release the material that has been captured inside of it. The Saginaw Valley robot on the left looks like it has a bucket ladder system, like we've seen on several previous robots, that is mounted in the middle of the robot and can change its angle, and I believe it can also drop itself down below the surface of the simulated regolith. And we're off. We have seen motion from both of these robots, which is always great to see. The Charlotte robot has 6 wheels, and the Saginaw Valley robot at the top of the screen is a 4-wheel design. Now, this Charlotte robot has driven straight so far, and what I notice is directly in front of the Charlotte robot, oh, look at that. The Charlotte robot just deployed its conveyor belt that will be used to offload the regolith. Both of these robots driving straight ahead. Sadly, both of them are pointing directly at this berm, this hill that the judges have created in the arena. And so now we see the Charlotte robot basically setting up for a 3-point turn in order to change its pointing direction in order to drive around this berm. Now, the thing the Charlotte robot needs to be careful of is there's a rock to its right and to its rear. So as the Charlotte robot performs these multi-point turns, it's going to need to be careful not to get stuck on that rock. Appears to be turning just fine though, but it's limited in its space that it has to perform this turn. Again, this is Charlotte on the bottom of the screen and Saginaw Valley State at the top of the screen. The Saginaw Valley State robot drove forward completely out of the starting area and then backed up a little bit. And we can see a little bit of motion from Saginaw Valley. There you see a wheel moving, but not all four wheels are moving. Matter of fact, the front right wheel is moving forward where that rear wheel was moving backwards there. So it doesn't seem like all four of the wheels were in sync just then. You can see the front of the Saginaw robot is lifting. So what it looks like they're doing is pushing their digging mechanism down into the dirt to lift the front of the robot up and maybe help get it unstuck. And North Carolina, Charlotte appears to have gotten past the berm, which from this angle you can see it really is a pretty good sized hill. Now they're going to have to be careful about that rock. And look at the suspension system on the Charlotte robot. You can see it kind of wobble back and forth um, like a teeter totter a little bit when it when it starts and stops. So they've got a kind of a springy suspension on this robot. It looks like. Now Charlotte appears to be in the digging zone, and look at that spinning excavator. This is a really good angle showing. Boy, that's a really powerful and tough excavator. It just pushed down, and now it's raising back up. And you can see the hole that it left beneath. Now maybe the overhead camera will be able to see the transfer of the material onto that belt. And like we saw before, I think it was Michigan yesterday um, that completely dumped its first load right there on the ground, which initially I thought was a mistake, but then I realized, oh yeah, we don't care about the top stuff. We're only getting scored for the deep for getting the deep rocks that are buried beneath the top surface, and so that's I suspect why the Charlotte team um, unloaded their haul just then. This overhead camera might give us a little bit of insight into their their transfer or dumping mechanism, and I think they're going to run backwards in order to dump onto that conveyor belt and then offload it. That's going to be interesting to see how deep they go before they decide whether they've hit the rocks. Are they going to be able to see whether whether they've got rocks? You can, or are they using data from the robot to tell them exactly how far down they've gone? Because the rules tell these teams roughly how far deep the the gravel is buried. Meanwhile, the Saginaw Valley robot has lifted the front of its robot. You can see even from this angle, the front of the Saginaw Valley robot is way up in the air, and you can see its front wheels turning, not both at the same rate. They might be having an issue with their front right wheel because it seems to be kind of starting and stopping. And meanwhile, on the right, Charlotte is going back for is this their Fourth load. I wonder how deep they go before they decide to keep it. I wonder if they're waiting to see a uh, visual indication on their cameras or something like that that they've hit the gravel. We're almost 7 minutes into a 15-minute run, so um, still plenty of time. Even though it took Charlotte a little bit of time to get past that berm and to get their robot down into the digging area. Once they got into the digging area, they have been super fast, super powerful, super efficient. You can see dig, dig. It's getting bound up a little bit. It hits a point where they can't quite dig any further. They tried again. Now they're just lifting it up. Oh, I saw some come out that time. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. Meanwhile, in the background, Saginaw Valley appears to be moving different mechanisms on board their robot and trying different things. They're probably troubleshooting back in the control center, looking at the data for all their different motors and actuators to see what's going on with their robot. The Saginaw Valley robot is trying to move. We just saw it kind of move just a little bit just then. Okay, the Charlotte robot is really, really deep now. They're I'm going to venture to say that they are more than half. They're almost the full diameter of their digging mechanism. You can kind of see the top of their digging mechanism when the front of that robot pops up, and they are super deep. They're almost to the full diameter of their digging mechanism below the surface, which is really, really impressive. Now, are they going to take this load back and trust that there are um, rocks in it? With a run that is 15 minutes long, we're 9 minutes in and 6 minutes remaining. So we've got a nice overhead view. Look at the slot that they left, this deep hole that they left behind. Um, 5.5 minutes remain. So once they offload this load onto the lander, there is a there is a chance, there is a possibility with 5 minutes remaining that they could go back for more. So let's see how fast this Charlotte robot can unload its gravel. And let's hope most of the gravel actually um, gets unloaded onto that mesh, that rectangular shaped um, mesh, which is taking the place of our lander's receiving station. All right, under 5 minutes remain. Meanwhile, the Saginaw Valley State robot, they may have given up on driving all the way over into the digging area. They may be just operating their digging mechanism right here in the obstacle area, um, just to get some runtime on it and just to get some experience on it. You can see how heavy the Charlotte robot is on its back end. Okay, those look like rocks to me. That that looks like some good stuff right there. Okay, we got 4 minutes. We're keeping an eye on the time. We got 4 minutes. Is Charlotte going to have enough time? Here's the thing: even if they have enough time to get down there, are they going to be perfectly lined up with that hole? What are the odds that they can actually go into that same hole and dig deeper than they just dug? That is not. They're going for it. Look at that. Oh man, that was a really, really fun attempt at driving over the berm. If that would have worked, um, the crowd here would have just erupted. I bet they did erupt. I'm not in the same room, but I bet they erupted anyway. Oh, lift up their digger and they can get over it. Look at that. Yes, that is so. Look at the judges. They're excited too. All right, that was amazing. So the the first attempt was uh, faltered by their center mounted digging drum being too low. But you talk about quick thinking and quick troubleshooting by the team to realize that they could probably get over that berm by just lifting up their center mounted um, bucket drum was really quick thinking by that team. So kudos to that team. We have just under 3 minutes remaining in this run for these two teams, Saginaw Valley State on the upper part of the screen and University of North Carolina at Charlotte on the lower part of the screen. 2.5 minutes. What is Charlotte going to do with the last 2.5 minutes? So the students that are driving this robot are fully and completely aware of the clock. They have it right in front of them on the computer screen. So they're going to go back and they're going to cross their fingers and hope that they got some rocks and that they still have 2 minutes left. Part of me wishes they had dug a little bit more, but honestly, if I was a student, I would be freaking out and worried that I was gonna blow it. So it looks like they came back. They still have a minute 45. Um, I don't know. Do you think they'll try another run with their last minute and a half? Or what are they going to do with this last minute and a half? I got a minute 34, 33. What is Charlotte going to do with the time remaining? They don't need to lower that. Don't lower it. Don't lower it. Nice. And look how well they lined up with the hole that they just dug. They went a little past it, but I wonder if the tracks that they made before actually helped them stay in that exact same spot. That's actually possible. Or we could just chalk that up to really good driving. Now, I want to point out the wheels. This is a really good angle of the wheels of this robot. We have 53 seconds. The wheels of this robot do have gripping mechanisms. They have treads, but it looks like the team has covered up their wheels with something soft like a cloth, or it could be a tape. Look at that. 35 seconds remain, and they're going to be able to dump this final load. It looks like we're at 25 seconds now, and let's see if they got lucky and found any rocks. Wow, looks like there was a couple rocks in that load. 10 seconds left. I don't think there's going to be a time to do anything else. They might run over to the digging area just for fun, or they might just call it right there. And as time runs out, the crowd goes wild uh, in cheering for this North Carolina Charlotte team. What an amazing run. And you can see the judges carefully picking the rocks um, off of the screen, and they're going to go weigh these rocks. And this Charlotte team is going to get points based on the final weight of these rocks that they were able to bring back to the lander. So congratulations! I want to congratulate both of these teams, not just Charlotte, but Saginaw Valley. They made some progress. They got out of the starting area. Their wheels were moving at least initially. Um, their digging mechanism, we saw that working a little bit ago. Their digging mechanism was strong enough; it actually was able to push down and lift the front of their robot up into midair, which probably helped them with some of their troubleshooting. So, congratulations to both of these teams. And as soon as we see on our live display what the weight of this haul was from North Carolina Charlotte, we will notify everyone on this live stream. I don't know how long that's going to take to show up on my live screen. Um, But what the teams are going to do and what the judges are going to do for the next hour probably is to take a lunch break. So we're going to continue our live stream throughout the lunch break, try and keep the cameras trained on something at least mildly interesting, and we'll show some more NASA videos during that time. And but don't go anywhere, because this afternoon after lunch we're going to be running all of our remaining teams that are here in Group 1 competing Monday and Tuesday. We're going to see Iowa State, California State Long Beach, NYU Tandon School of Engineering, Alabama, Miami-Dade, Florida Tech, the University of Akron, the University of Utah, New Mexico Tech, Rochester, Arkansas, and Purdue. So stay with us all day long, and tell your friends about this live stream. We have nearly 140 people watching live right now. Thank you all for watching. Don't go anywhere. Um, Stick around for more of NASA's Lunabotics 2022 Collegiate Robotic Mining Competition.